Hi, folks. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to Ask Evelyn, where we answer your questions about recycling, garbage, and other trashy topics. So, this week's episode, Packagepalooza. This time, it's compostable. And I am your host, Becca Fong. I'm so glad to be with you guys. I do residential outreach for Seattle Public Utilities. And this show in particular is run, you keep them coming. You can send them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or to our email address, which is askevelyn@seattle.gov. All right. Hey, Pat.
Hey, Becca.
And as always, guys, this is my co-host, Pat Kaufman.
Compostables.
Absolutely. So I'm super excited about our show this week. Is Packagepalooza. We love these episodes. I mean, we love every episode, but Packagepalooza is especially exciting because we get tons of questions from you guys. Literally every day, you guys send us stuff on social, through the Ask Evelyn email when we're out and about. Hopefully we get to see you guys out there again soon. But we get a ton of questions about, is this thing compostable?
Yeah.
So Pat and I are going to refresh Packagepalooza, and we're just going to talk about all these different items that we've seen that you guys have asked us questions about, and send pictures. Please keep them coming. And Pat, let's kick it off. We got some good stuff this week.
Let's kick it off. Just as an introductory, kind of to frame the topic, in Seattle Public Utilities, we're encouraging the diversion of food waste from the landfill, and to make food waste more easily movable from your grab and go lifestyle of grabbing a meal here and there. We encourage restaurants and food service businesses to use compostable packaging. We require it. We don't just encourage it. We actually have requirements. So sometimes you get a recyclable package if it's takeout. But if it's dine-in, it has to be compostable for restaurants because it's a single-use item, and y'all don't have a sink there to rinse out a recyclable container, so it has to be compostable for dine-in. Takeaway is on the consumer. So that's just a little framing of it. And, so there's a lot of great companies out there doing some great stuff, working to create compostable packaging. And sometimes they mark their packaging and sometimes they don't. And so now we're trying to, to help so many questions. You're right. We get all these very specific questions about this particular item. Is it compostable? And so we've gathered a number of things here. So we can jump right into it. Shall I go first or you?
Absolutely. Why don't you go first?
Okay.
Why don't you go first?
Okay. So we'll start kind of the easy space here. This is an Earth Choice. Boy, it's a plastic cup, right?
Right.
Oh, geez, it's very brittle. So yeah, basically, what do you think? I mean, it has a lot of wording on it.
It's got a lot of wording on it. I see some important ones. The most important one I see is thumbs up. I see the word compostable on there.
There it is, right there.
That's what I got.
So it's a thumbs up. The compostable, Earth Choice brand, or really any plastic cup. I have another one here from Eco Products, similarly labeled by the manufacturer. And then sometimes, a particular business will label their cups as well. So meaning like, a detail label like, Taco Time or something like that. Right. So, but the idea is if you see the word compostable on a cup, you're good to go. It can go in the compost bin.
All right. Well, similarly, I've got something else here, and it's actually kind of a twofer. So I've got this paper cup here.
Oh, yeah.
All right. It's got kind of a smooth coating on the inside, and it also has this lid that's plasticky. It's got that word on it.
It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. Of course, with those words, we know that's a thumbs up. Those are compostable items. Thumbs up. And
Absolutely.
the idea is that those two products are really well labeled.
Yeah.
It's not
super well.
It's not a brand. It's not a brand label that's in your face. Earth Choice. See, Earth Choice actually makes a whole line of products. They make plastic products. They make polypropylene clamshells. They make all kinds of containers, and they're all called Earth Choice because that's the name of the company.
Right.
But only the Earth Choice products, and obviously that one, which is an Earth Choice. But when it has the word compostable, then we're okay. Yeah.
What I like about this one in particular is that this is a plastic lid, and it's pretty durable. It's nice and flexible.
Right.
But the fact that it has this word compostable stamped on it is what tells you that this is different. Because I know you and I have both seen, Pat, like compostable cups. Sometimes that come with plastic, like petroleum plastic lids. So you want to check that for sure.
That's right. That's a good point. And thanks for putting the little Sharpie mark on there so I can see the raised lettering on that product. It's hard to see otherwise.
It is.
So I've got, in a similar kind of category, got a couple of local companies here, and they're branded cups. This is what I was talking about before. Like some companies do branding.
Right.
But, they talk about their company, They talk about the contents.
Yeah.
There's nothing on here on the bottom even that indicates that it is one thing or another. It just is a paper cup. So what do you think?
I'm going thumbs down just because I don't know.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
these guys are thumbs down. It's a plastic coated product. Hot cups, little fun fact here, hot cups are coated on the inside only. Cold cups have coating on the outside and inside. It's about the condensation and movement of the cold or whatever. So it feels really natural when it's not coated on the outside. You know, it's very like, oh, it's so like, you know, matte finish kind of looking.
Right.
But there is the shiny, you know, moisture barrier layer on the inside of all coffee cups, unless they use the term compostable, which means they are coated with a cornstarch or some other, you know, plant-based.
Totally. This is kind of a side note, and we're going to be talking more about composting at home next week. But I actually had what I thought many years ago, a fully compostable cup that I put into my worm bin. Right. Oh. And so what was interesting was that the worms kind of ate the paper. And when I went in and dug through it, there was this like thin plastic sleeve that remained. And I was like, oh, I guess that's the plastic lining.
That's
it was
right.
actually really interesting because obviously the worms wouldn't eat it even if it was a corn-based plastic, but it would have broken down in some way. And it was just like a perfect shape plastic kind of cup. It was crazy.
That's a great story. And that's, I mean, you can see the cup. It's very well bonded together in fiber. Once it goes in a worm bin or a compost process, the fiber is going to loosen up and be available to the bacteria or worms or what have you. But the plastic, you know, they don't want to eat that. They're not going to eat it. So it's going to remain. And so if you put this in your compost cart, that plastic is going to stay. And that's not what we want. Next item.
Here's the next one I got for you. We get this question a lot. We got a butter wrapper.
Butter wrapper. Nice.
What do you got?
Well, so they used to be wax coated. This one is a no-go. This one is a no-go.
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down. I mean, it's just, honestly, I would be shocked. You'd have to probably go to, well, I just don't know if there's any manufacturers of butter anymore that use a wax coating. It used to be the norm in the industry.
Right.
And that's what happens in industry. You know, certain packaging kind of, you know, conventions are followed by industry. You know, one manufacturer jumps to a different substrate and it's cheaper, you know, and then everybody else sort of follows. And so that's what's happened with butter. It used to be a wax coated paper, like that was the norm. Totally. And now it's all poly coated, you know. So yeah. Okay, next item. Back to the fiber category. This is going to be a bit of a curveball. This is your classic fold top box for to-go food. But I want to show you the label and let you decide here. Bio plus Earth.
I'm going thumbs down. I mean,
good call. Good job. That's right. I mean, look at all those words. They're wonderful words, right? We've talked about words before. Bio plus Earth.
There's a tree.
100% recyclable, made from trees. Green Restaurant Association approved. I mean, how many curveballs can you get with one pitch? It's like 7 different terms that none of them mean compostable.
Right. None.
So,
0.
You know, good call. The funny thing is, and the sorry part about the industry is that this company, BioPlus, which is a huge company, they have a line called BioPlus Terra, which is actually lined with the non-poly cornstarch stuff.
Okay.
So if you see, but then on the Terra line, they put the word compostable nice and large on there. So when you see that one, I'm sorry I don't have one. Just so you know.
I think it just proves that they're not that common. So as you guys run into those, we've definitely gotten lots of pictures of those. Give those a quick rinse when you're at home and throw them into your recycle. But they're not super common.
And there's another brand that you see a lot of, and it's called EcoBox. And all it says is EcoBox means nothing. It's not compostable. It's plastic coated. Yeah. That's right. Okay.
All right. So yes, it is recyclable. We got a comment here.
Great question.
And absolutely, if it's clean, go ahead and recycle it.
I will be recycling this after the show. Yes, it's fully recyclable. So actually, if you like flatten it down, it's even better. You know. So anyway, it's fully recyclable.
Totally. As long as it's clean, dry, and empty, recyclable. Yeah. All right, Pat. I got this thing, so you can kind of hear it's loud.
I hear something.
It's a plastic fork in a plastic wrapper, and it's got our word. So what do we got?
Well, we're a thumbs up on that one, and I think judging by the sound of that wrapper, we're a double thumbs up there. So it's a hard one for folks to know. Those of us in the industry know that the really loud, crinkly plastic that comes around a lot of the compostable utensils, that plastic is a compostable substrate. Yeah. It's a PLA, polylactic acid. Some folks who have been paying attention to compostables for a long time, they might remember the Sun chips, those potato chips. They switched their line to a fully compostable chip bag, and they're a very loud chip bag. It's a big bag, and you're in and out of the bag, and they got a lot of feedback. And so, as it turned out, they went back to the plastic style bag, but for a while, it was a very loud chip bag.
I think nobody wants that reminder when they're guiltily eating a whole bag of chips, and every time you go in for another handful that you're eating more chips.
That's right.
Nobody wants that reminder.
So here's a couple. Here's a couple more for you in the same category.
Nice. Okay.
See how close I can get here without you. And now I'm going to go flip side, so you can see there's anything on the back side.
Okay, I'm going thumbs down on these.
You're right. These are thumbs down. There's no indication that they say compostable on them.
No.
There's not even an attempt at a greenwashy brand name. They're just blank Betty's. There's just nothing to them. So you're talking about a brownish colored fork. Unfortunately, not brownish, whatever color this is.
Tan.
Off-white, So, and then the classic white plastic fork, which these are so durable, they would last for many meals. So I may or may not trash those. I might reuse them.
I mean, Pat, I put this through the dishwasher.
Yeah.
Honestly, use it again.
I mean, in that whole thing of reusing plastics, though, they are manufactured for single use or close to single use. So I would advise using them for prolonged periods of time, because eventually the construct is going to break down, and then you got some micro. Yeah. So, okay. Next item.
Okay.
You go. Yeah.
Okay. This one came in to our Ask Evelyn email box a little while ago, and someone wrote to us about this plastic package. And the reason they wanted to know is that on the bottom, it's a plastic package, and it's got the number 7, and it says other on it. So they were like, hey, is this compostable? What do you think, Pat?
Well, number 7 is the curveball. This is a no. This is a thumbs down item.
Yeah.
Basically, number 7 is other. So they've correctly labeled it as other.
Yeah.
But that's a multi-material laminate pouch. And they're saying other because it doesn't fall into the other existing categories of polypropylene, polyethylene. They're just very strict to the numbering. And so what has happened, though, in the compostable packaging industry is when you make a PLA or compostable substrate product out of a polymer that's derived from plants, it becomes an other as well. It becomes a 7 in the
like this one.
That's right, in the convention of labeling by the numbers. And that's why it's important. We need to talk about the numbers real quick here. Yeah. I know we have a show coming up all about the numbers, and we'll dive deep. But just to remember, folks, Seattle Public Utilities does not provide guidelines to their residents, to their customers about the numbers. Don't follow the numbers. Don't worry about it. Rigid plastic, empty, clean, and dry, recyclable. Compostable, the word compostable. So that's kind of how you tell. It's unfortunate that number 7 gets used on compostable packaging products and other non-compostable products, but it's a catch-all. Yeah.
All right, Pat, you got one more for me?
I got one more category. So I'm gonna throw a double whammy at you.
Ooh, okay. So I'm gonna go with a thumbs up on this.
That's right. It is a thumbs up.
Nice.
That's right. So these are a uncoated paper product. They're fiber. They're paper. One can rip them and see that they're just a fiber product, and they're commonly used in the grab and go or food truck type environment out in Seattle, and they're fine. They can be soiled like this and go right into the compost. That's the beauty of it. And so you just want to. The shiny coated ones, the ones that might have a 4th of July or a Thanksgiving turkey image, or, these holiday plates. Yeah, exactly. Happy birthday or something. Those are not good. Those are plastic coated. Once you put ink on the face of a plate, to keep the ink out of the food, you got to put a coating over it. So usually plastic coating. So our advice to folks is, unless you see the word compostable on one of those shiny looking items, then it would be a PLA coated. But if you don't see the word compostable, then any shiny coated packaging is recyclable if clean, but dirty if it's soiled. garbage.
So really quickly, we just wanted to go through a couple more terms that you guys have sent to us that I didn't have a prop for. One of them is the brown foam meat trays.
Yeah.
So those are good to go in the compost. So brown foam meat trays are a thumbs up. Only the brown ones. They usually are stamped with compostable on the back, which is great. Another thing that we get a lot, Pat, is like tissues in the compost.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, paper towels, yes, because paper towels are a product that's often used in the kitchen to wipe up spills of food and whatnot. Anytime you use a household cleaner with a paper towel, no go, garbage.
Yeah.
Anytime you use bodily fluid kind of wiping, no go, garbage. The health department doesn't want any of that stuff at the compost facility. So if one used a tissue to wipe up a food spill, then it's compostable because the tissue is just tissue.
Right.
But yeah, so that's kind of the guide is food wipes versus people wipes.
I know, I was like, ew.
Right.
So those are kind of things. And please, folks, keep them coming. I hope that you guys enjoyed all of this back and forth. And like Pat said, we're going to do a By the Numbers episode next month in June when we're focused on the recycling and the blue carts. This month, we're focused on the green carts. And we've got some really great links. We've got a link to the Where Does It Go tool, as always, which should be just something that you guys have bookmarked, which is always good to look up. Hundreds to thousands of entries on there. We're adding more every day. And then we've got a link to the acceptable compostable materials for both of our processors that we talked about last week. So Lens Enterprises and Cedar Grove.
Yeah.
And then one quick reminder before we say goodbye to you guys is that this week we have another one of our reuse and recycling collection events. I think of them as beyond the cart. It's the stuff that can't go into your cart but can still be recycled or reused if it's handled separately. So we'll be collecting all kinds of stuff. It's at Finney Neighborhood Association. It's from 9 to 1. We'll be taking, bring your foam block, bring your electronics, bring paper to shred, batteries, fluorescent bulbs, all those things will be taken back. Small appliances. We can't take furniture at this time. That's just too much. But all those other things are fantastic. So definitely check out the website. We'll have a link in the show notes to the event information, and we hope to see you guys there. If you can't make it, we got plenty more on the calendar. So we'll see you at some point. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Keep those questions coming. We love hearing from you. We love pictures too. That always helps us kind of know what's going on. And, with that, it's been a great episode. Thanks for tuning in, Packagepalooza. This time it's compostable edition. And with that, I'm Becca Fong. And remember, life's simpler with less stuff.
I'm Pat Kaufman. Remember to recycle right. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.